You're listening to the Justice Hour on 1470 AM WWNN. I'm your host, Lisa Macy, and we just heard from Congressman Fleming, who's doing great work for all of us in Washington, D.C., and we were talking about immigration. And next we're going to hear from Eric Miller, who is running to be the chairman of the Republican Party of Florida. If you have a question or comment, you could call us toll-free 888-565-1470. I think we have Eric Miller on the line. Eric Miller, welcome back to the Justice Hour, I should say. How are you today?
I'm well, Lisa. Good to talk with you. And how are you?
I'm doing great. And I'm so excited to hear that you are running to be the chairman of the Republican Party of Florida, and I support you 150%. And I know when I first met you, you were running to be the chairman of the Republican Party of Florida against the then sitting chairman, Jim Greer. And I was supporting you then, and I remember I kind of got booted off the executive committee of the Palm Beach County Republican Party for supporting you over Chairman Greer at the time, now ex-convict felon Greer.
Yeah, those were not some happy days within our party, and I want to make sure that we certainly don't go back to where we were and start to relive them again. And I have to tell you, thank you for your support. It's people like you out there in the grassroots that make this whole thing work, and I know you were willing to stand up for what was right, and you paid a penalty for that. And,
I didn't really pay a penalty because instead of wasting my time doing free executive board work on the REC, I got to work more and then got to make more money. So it turned out to be a blessing.
We need to change the whole culture within our party right now to make sure that people like you that stand up for what's right and people that stand up and speak out are able to continue to do that so that we can grow a party that has a healthy message that we can deliver to all of the voters out there, whether they're registered Republican or not, and make sure they understand, that we're the party that actually stands for the same things they do. We're going to work to make that happen. We're going to change the messaging.
Right, and someone had just pointed out that in Palm Beach County that I think the independents exceed the Republicans. I'm not sure if it's tonight they're going to elect a new chairman, and I think Mike Barnett is unopposed, but I'm excited to see Mike as the chairman. For a long time, I like Sid Dinerstein, but I don't think that having a chairman who is just reelected, and it's kind of seen as a closed shop where no one new comes in is a good thing either.
Well, I don't either, Lisa, and I have to agree with you. I am excited to see that Mark is going to,
Mike,
at this point be unopposed and is going to be able to take the helm down there in Palm Beach County. He has a lot of new ideas and he's fresh leadership.
Right.
I think Mike's going to do a tremendous job. You mentioned that Palm Beach County actually has more registered independents and more registered Democrats than they do Republicans. You're not unique in Palm Beach County in that there are 5 counties across this state that have a similar demographic. And I have a plan that's going to be able to change that, and I'm hopeful that we're going to be able to get that put into place. And
one thing I was reading in your quarterly wrap-up, now you are now the state committee man for Martin County, correct?
That's correct. That is correct.
To run for RPOF chair, what are the qualifications? Do you have to be a sitting current committee man? State committee man?
Yes, you have to be
either
state committee man, a state committee man, a state committee woman, or the current chairman of a local party. So out of all 67 counties, there are 3 people from each county that come together and make up the RPOF.
Now, there were a lot of changes made under Chairman Greer to the system where there were a lot of appointees who were on the RPOF, and then I heard a lot of talk about that being changed or reversed, and I don't think it ever was. Was it?
It has not been. That actually was one of the recommendations that came out of a study that some of our primary donors within the party actually put together that said, look, guys, you have to return a balance back to the party so that we can maintain a good balance within the entire system. And that still is yet to take place. But, again, I have plans and am hopeful that we're going to be able, under my administration, to get those changes made and get us back to a healthy balance and grow this party like you've never seen it grow before. One of the things I read in your quarterly wrap-up was about this leadership slush fund. And I know that's something that most of us don't want to hear existing. Can you tell us about that? And is this something new with Chairman, how do you say her name, Duggar? Dower. Dower.
Dower?
Yeah, Chairman Leslie Dower.
Dower.
The word slush fund, those were her words that she used to describe it when actually our national committeeman and your state committeeman from Palm Beach County, Peter Feynman, during the budget review process, questioned the new line item that was in the state budget. It's a $105,000 line item that they've put in for.
Right, a nice chunk of change there, huh?
It is a nice chunk of change, and it is probably there for the right reasons. I would like to think, we're going to use it for party building. Our chairman, I think, had a very Freudian slip in that even she recognized that the impression of putting a $105,000 line item, a new line item that's never been in the budget, for use of spending on the party apparatus at a local level just 45 days out from an election of which she's running for, she called it a slush fund because I think she had that Freudian idea in her head, too, that it just doesn't quite smack of, having the right impression. And
this is money that comes from donations, correct?
Well, it's party dollars. So everything that comes into the party, we're not a business. We don't have a product
right
out other than our elected politicians. So the money had to be given to the party in one way or another.
And I don't think people had the intent when they gave the money to the party, they would go to candidates, not to go to elect the chairman of the party for lavish expenses for the chairman of the party, as we saw with Chairman Greer.
Yeah, and, we haven't seen this kind of hubris since Chairman Greer. And there is a lot of pent-up anger over this. I'm receiving phone calls. I'm seeing email traffic. People are really upset, which is actually a very good thing, in that, people are finally beginning to feel like they can stand up, have a voice, make a difference, and take these things head on and let leadership know that we need new leadership in this community, or in our party, rather, and that, we're not going to take it anymore. We're not going to be told to sit down and shut up. We're going to move in a direction that we know is principled and right and maintains Republican values.
Your plan as chairman, would that include expanding the power of the Republican base and decreasing the power of the establishment?
Well, I want to be careful to use that word establishment because once I get elected, I'm instantly the establishment.
Right.
So I want to be real careful in using that word in a derogatory way. But what we're looking at doing is actually empowering the grassroots by giving more latitude and more freedom to the RECs so that we can reach out to the community. We can let people know that we are there with them. We're part of them. We want to grow the party. So to answer your question, yes, we're going to be more bottom-up, more grassroots, less top-down, and less authoritarian, if you will.
I read that there was just a victory dinner. When was that? About a week or two ago? And I didn't even hear about it.
No, the victory dinner, I think, took place a few months back.
Okay. That's right. I think I was supposed to go, and I had to cancel because of work. Okay.
Which,
I might have misread.
Properly labeled. It was a victory dinner. We did a very good job in this election. No one can contest that. We took back a supermajority. We got the governor reelected narrowly. But at the same time, we really need to do some introspection, and we need to take a look at where we're at as a party and figure out whether or not we're going to be able to continue to grow. We have diminishing registrations, and we need to ask ourselves some serious questions as to why would somebody want to be a Republican and move forward from there and get people back involved in the system. It really does work when you have people that are taking care of the brand and the mantle.
And I was thrilled about the election results, at least statewide.
Yeah, it was exciting. We did well.
And I don't know how much of it is attributed to so many people disappointed on a federal level with our federal government and the Democrats that they decided they're going to vote Republican versus work that's been done by the state.
Well, a win's a win, and at this point, I think that we can learn from it, we can build from it, and I can promise you going into 2016, when I'm elected chairman, we are not going to allow this state to be turned back over to the Democrats. There will be no question that this is solidly a Republican state. And as Florida goes, so goes the rest of the nation. We're ready to lead, Lisa.
So,
we're
Eric,
ready to take us.
How many opponents do you have now?
Well,
I've heard
there are
of two.
4 of us that are running.
Okay.
Yeah, there are 4 of us that are running for the chairmanship right now.
Leslie, Blaze, and then who's the other one? The third one, other than
the
you?
other one is a gentleman by the name of Kurt Kelly.
Okay. Where is he from?
Kurt is a former state legislator.
Okay.
And he runs a statewide foundation, a nonprofit foundation.
And Blaze, he just got elected to the House. So how is he going to be able to give his full attention to the state party when he has to become acclimated and do his job as state representative?
That's a very good question. Blaze was actually asked that during the debate that we had last Friday. And Blaze said if he needs to, he'll work 100 hours a week in order to achieve that. And, God bless him. He has a desire to lead the party. You just have to ask if you can serve 2 masters.
Eric, I'm told that we have a call.
Yes, ma'am.
Good afternoon. Welcome to the Justice Hour.
Yeah, good afternoon, Lisa. How are you today?
Good. How are you? This is Chuck?
Yes, it's Chuck calling from Stewart. I have a question for Eric regarding legal issues that come up before the RPOF. Hasn't it in the past been problematic because the RPOF doesn't hire the attorney who acts as their general counsel as an employee, but rather they contract that out to a law firm, so they really don't have a fiduciary responsibility of or liability for the advice this guy gives out?
I thought they had general counsel on staff.
No, general counsel is not on staff. It is a contracted position.
Didn't they used to?
And
They used to have a staff of attorneys? I remember under, what was her name, Jordan?
Carol Jean may have had them on staff. I can't answer that definitively.
Okay. I guess at some point the staff of attorneys went away.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that Chuck brought up there that really bears some consideration. Does the RPOF benefit more by having an employee that's directly answerable to the board than having a contract attorney out there? And I think that's a discussion that we can have and investigate without a doubt.
What are your ideas for growing the base, Eric? Can you tell us some?
Well, yeah,
and I guess Chuck is gone. Thank you for calling, Chuck.
No, I'm still here. Could I ask one more question?
Sure.
Yeah, Lisa, am I still on?
Yes, go ahead.
Yes, I just wanted to point out something about the general election campaign, and that was Eric Miller was one of the prime movers within the RPOF in pushing back against the full throttle direction towards full Common Core implementation that the apparatus that controlled the legislature was heading towards and the governor's administration
well, good for
was
him.
Towards. And I think Eric deserves a lot of credit because had he not pushed back and gotten the governor to back off, a lot of defections could have gone to the Libertarian Party rather than staying in the fold to narrowly carry Governor Scott to victory.
That's great, Eric. We had the congressman from Louisiana, and I was reading that Senator David Vitter, it said that he's going to run for governor of Louisiana next. He had been supporting Common Core, and he did a full turnabout on it in that state as well.
Well, regardless of where you stand on Common Core, it could be Common Core, it could be lemonade stands, it could be any issue that's out there. We believe that is part of the reason why we need the grassroots to be in charge of the party, so that when there is something that comes up, the party with its philosophies is able to not oppose our elected leadership, to be able to demonstrate to them that those individuals that are voting for them have a certain understanding and a certain feeling about issues that arise. So I'm excited about it. I think we're going to do great things, and I'm hopeful we're going to be able to I'm actually confident. I think we're doing well. we're hopeful, but at the same time very confident that we're going to be able to win this chairmanship and make some positive changes to the state.
Thanks for calling, Chuck, and I'll give out the number again, 888-565-1470, if anyone wants to call in with questions or comments. So getting back, can you tell us about your ideas for expanding the party base and expanded inclusion? Because sure. I think that after Chairman Greer, a lot of people became somewhat disgusted with the state party, not with the Republican Party, but at least with the way the party was spending the money that were donated, that it wasn't going towards electing Republicans and candidates as much as a lot of people thought they should. So let me stop that, and we're going to go and take another call. Good afternoon. Welcome to the Justice Hour. Who's calling?
This is David.
Hi, David. Where are you calling from?
Oh, I'm calling from Pensacola.
Okay. Thank you for calling in. Do you have a question or a comment for Eric Miller?
I love listening to you. I just had a question that came out just out of curiosity.
Sure.
You talked about the slush fund. Didn't the board stand up? Where's the board? Didn't the board stand up and say anything about the slush fund?
Well, Lisa, you want me to answer that?
Yes.
There was one individual that did. Our national committeeman questioned the the line item that was there and the sensibility of actually putting it through. But the rest of the board members kind of let it go. And I have to say that's again, this is another thing that we need to look at improving within our process, and that is that the board really doesn't have ample opportunity to review the budget prior to approving it. It's not the kind of process that you would expect to see out of a large corporation and have a trusted board of directors deal with.
Did anyone vote against the budget?
No.
Mm.
Did anyone complain after? Did anyone say anything?
You said Peter Feynman
Well, they are saying
did.
things. Yeah, they are saying. That's a very good question. They are saying things right now. I received calls. I had a 3-hour drive home from Tampa, and I spent the entire time on the phone talking with people that said, Eric, I just realized what we did, and I can't believe that we allowed that to happen.
And Eric has made that one of his issues I saw it on his quarterly wrap-up, and that's how I first found out about it.
Yeah, and there are a lot of people
Thank you for standing up.
Well, thank you for being there, and know that we're going to continue to fight for the party, and we're going to continue to fight for principle. Don't give up on us.
Well, then you don't give up. How's that? I won't give up if you won't give up.
I won't. We'll keep fighting to the end.
Thanks for calling, David. Have a great day.
Thank you. Bye.
So, Eric, you've been working with the state Republican Party. Is it for 16 years? Let's tell people a little bit about your background, too.
Yeah, I got involved directly in the apparatus itself, the REC and active politics as a grassroots person back in '98 during the Bush-Brogan campaign, and I've been active ever since. Politically, this is my second term as state committeeman in Martin County. I've served on a number of committees within the RPOF. We actually have I served as the technology chairman for the Technology Committee, and we've had some really good outcomes from that. I served the United States Army. I was in airborne infantry when I served.
And you have a degree, college degree in computer science, and I guess you could use your technology to improve. The technology is changing so rapidly that we certainly need to make sure that the political party is staying ahead of what's happening. We heard that was one of the reasons why we lost the election for president.
Yeah, you're exactly right. Technology is not static. It's very fluid. When we build anything within the, any business that relies upon technology to help it in its marketing or development efforts needs to make sure that they have something that's very fluid. You can't just put up a Facebook page anymore and tweet out 144 characters and expect that to take you to victory. We have to look for innovative, out-of-the-box ways to be able to include people. And they don't have to be anything extravagant. It can be something very simple, like being able to bring in speakers and give a webcast that anybody in the state, or even for that matter, anybody in the world, because it's a World Wide Web,
right,
can come in and listen to and learn from. So there's a lot of innovative ways that we can use technology, and I agree with you. My technology degree will give us an advantage in that I do have some, insight into how technology works and even to where it's going. One of the things that has allowed me to be able to run for this position is the fact that I founded and ran with my wife. We built and ran 2 different technology companies and have subsequently sold them off. One of the companies was one of the early cloud computing platforms that were available to people on a national and international level. So, we watch trends, we can see trends. I know how to identify them, I know how to apply them, and we'll do well. Technology is the easy part of this. The hard part is getting back to where we regain the trust of the disenfranchised, former Republicans and current Republicans. We have to pump this base back up, and we don't do it by cheerleading and putting out fancy slogans. We do it by restoring ourselves first as a party, and then restoring the trust through honest messaging and talking to people like people, not as a vote.
Right. The growth of the Tea Party, did that come about as the result of a lot of people feeling disenfranchised by party politics?
I think they would tell you that. I understand people are looking for leadership, Lisa. Let's face it, our world, our nation, our state, while there's a lot of great things going on, I don't want to focus on the negative, but we have to be honest.
And I must say that Governor Scott has done a great job with that in the state, and something that we're not seeing on a national level from the president.
Yeah, we are very lucky to have Governor Scott in office. There is no doubt about that. We definitely would not be in a good place 4 years from now had we gotten Charlie, I don't know what party I really belong to, Chris back in. So I agree with you. The governor has done some great things for the state, and we need to continue to build on that and make sure that 4 years from now we're in a position to put another strong Republican back into the governor's house.
Now, one thing we're not seeing, the governor is not looking towards where he could go next in his next government job. And it's not like, oh, well, there's a party coming up and then I'm going to neglect my duties. Those are things that I find really disappointing when I see it in elected officials.
Yeah, and that's you're expressing what I'm trying to express, and that is that even if we're not actually establishing a true slush fund, but we tell people we're establishing the slush fund, what kind of a message does that send? We need to be sending a message of integrity and seriousness to people, not a message of hubris and telling people to sit down and shut up that we know better than them. We need to be inclusive. If you're listening, come on in, folks. You're about to see some pretty big changes within Florida. We want you. Come on board.
One of your platforms, responsible reform of the appointed votes that we had mentioned earlier. Right. And you said it dilutes the appointment from the governor, and I guess it's the cabinet who get to make appointments. And is it also the chair?
Well, this is kind of insider baseball. However, it does go back to talking about, what Republican principles really are. And that is that the governor, the Speaker of the House, and the Senate President each get to appoint 10 people as members of the Republican Party of Florida, which also gives them a vote. The last time that any of them appointed people that actually had an idea of voting for someone different than who the person that appointed them was, I don't think has ever happened. So It creates a very top-down, authoritarian image, and it makes it very difficult to overcome when you are a grassroots candidate that doesn't have the blessing and hasn't kissed the ring of the elected.
Right.
So what I'm advocating for.
And that came about by statute, so now you have to get another statute passed or to get legislation to take that away?
Well, ideally, I would like to see it come through legislation. I would like to see the legislators rescind it themselves so that there isn't any kind of a miscommunication or impression amongst the voters when we rescind it, because there are ways within our own party rules and within statute. Statute has actually left the door open for us that we can actually change this under party rule And I would rather work with the legislature and the governor to rescind it than to have to do it ourselves. But if we have to, then that's the way we'll do it. But we will return a balance back to the party and the elected. We have to for health.
And your second item on your platform is the reform of leadership funds. Is this something new with Ms. Dower, or has this been done before in the RPOF?
No,
I mean, we've heard of the leadership funds in the Senate and House.
Yeah, well, not only that, but the governor and the rest of the cabinet members. And basically what you have is a situation where we have great success in fundraising in this state. And our party leaders are a part of our party. I mean, don't get me wrong. This is not us against them.
Right.
We are one group. However, the monies that are brought in have in the past few years been spent in such a way that they were spent in contested Republican primaries, meaning that the RPOF, after they received the dollars from the leadership of the party, were then instructed to spend those in contested Republican primaries, which required us to put our name on it as the Republican Party of Florida. And it just gives the impression...
And that gets a lot of people angry when the RPOF steps in and butts in and goes against their candidate.
Yes, ma'am, it does. And that's part of how you grow the party. You have to be part of the party before you grow the party, and you have to understand that there are people out there that really want to have a difference and have a say. And when they look at behavior like this, they have to question whether they want to be part of it. So we're going to return the party back to the party members, and we're going to encourage others to come back.
Eric, can you give us 3 ways, ideas that you had to grow the party, get people back to growing the base and party inclusion?
Sure.
Expand that?
One of the ways that we need to do it, we've talked about it a lot, is to, not change messaging, but change our behavior.
You have about 2 minutes to tell us that.
Really easy. When we change our behavior, people are going to see the way we act. Perception is reality, and when you act as a stalwart person, people want to be with people that are good people. So we're going to return that impression of being very stalwart, and that will attract people. The other thing we have to do when we're talking to people is quit talking to them as if they are a particular race or they are a particular gender. We need to talk to all people in Florida about things that we have in common. Everyone has certain wants and needs in common, and we're going to do a better job at telling them how the Republican Party can help everyone in this state have a better life, less government, more freedom, more money, better job security, and better security for their children. And the other way we're going to grow it is by growing the party itself. There are rules within the party that allow the chairman to take some measures to be able to grow the party so that we can have more dedicated Republican activists helping us find what we need, and that is votes and people within the system to help us grow.
All great ideas, Eric, and I hope to see you as the next chair of the Republican Party of Florida. If anyone has questions and they want to contact you after the show, how do they do that?
They are welcome to contact me at Eric, ERIC.Miller at ECEhosting.com. That's my personal email address, and I hope I don't regret giving that over the air, but hey, send me the questions, and thank you for the support.
Well, thanks so much, and look forward to your continued great work with the Republican Party of Florida.
Thank you for your support.
You're definitely worth it. Thanks to WWNN. To Blake for great work on the board, and thank you for listening. Call me for information on advertising and sponsorship opportunities. My number is 561-361-8528. Go to the Justice Hour website. It's my name, Lisa Macy, LISAMACCI.com. Sign up for the weekly newsletter with information on upcoming guests and great events. Email me. Let me know you're listening. Lisa at LisaMacy.com. Find me on Facebook and follow me on Twitter. God bless you and your family. And remember to keep listening to the one and only Justice Hour, because if you don't know your rights, you just don't have any rights.